Today I'm going to show off my most recently completed lightsaber commission, Princess Leia's lightsaber from episode 9. So this hilt is the General LO9 from TheSaberArmory, and I installed it with CFX, and I believe the chassis is made by Jimmy's Saber Junk, or at least it looks like it is. Anyways, without further ado, let's get a closer look. Alright, I guess I'll start by going over the hilt itself. This is the first time I got to see a Leia lightsaber in person, and the first time I've gotten to work on it, of course, so it's pretty cool to see the hilt and all the differences that it has and cool designs it has from all the other lightsabers out there. First of all, it's got mother of pearl inlays, if you can see it here in the handle. I think there might be something else, yeah, and here as well there's some mother of pearl, but it's really, really cool, and I just love the sort of pinkish, copperish, goldish looking rest of the accent pieces and the shininess of it. It's just a really nicely designed lightsaber. But other than that, this is a one-button lightsaber, as you can see. So all the activation stuff and auxiliary stuff is just from the one button. Let's see, we've got a D-ring down here with some nice sound venting in there, nice discrete sound venting, and then the emitter is all see-through, so the light will shine through. So you're going to want to have a blade that has a clear bottom, not one with a black bottom or anything like that, because you will be able to see 100% of the blade. So in this case, a lit PCB in the emitter is super useful because it helps light up this bottom section a little more than what usually is possible with the blade. So with that said, let's go right into it. The first thing I'm going to mention is it has 3 retention screws in the emitter, which is a little bit different than usual. I don't know if you want to use all 3 retention screws, because from what I've heard, just 1 retention screw is better because it ends up pushing the blade against the rest of the wall of the emitter. And if you have 3 set screws, then if you use all of them, you only have 3 small points of contact versus 1 point of contact pressing against the entirety of the back wall. So that'll be up to the new owner of this lightsaber to decide which method you want. But for now, I'm just using 1 retention screw. This is the blade plug. It's pretty cool. And then this, you can see the emitter. I think this is the new stock Eco pixel connector, which has a lot more pixels on it than there used to be. And the rest of this, I will say what's important is this button. If it ever gets loose, you just tighten it. It's just a screw-in button. So you can sort of see here, you can unscrew it and take it out. And I want to mention that because in order for the button inside here to be pressed, if you have this silver thing screwed in all the way, it won't be able to press. So if you could see here, that extends. If you tighten it, then it closes it off a little more, so it doesn't extend as far, as you can see. So you're going to want to have that be a little bit more loose in order to press the button. And then you can also determine how loose you want it to get that button press feel that you want. But just unscrew it a little bit, and then you can screw this whole thing back into its place on the hilt. This whole thing comes out, the whole silver section. So just keep that in mind when you do it. There we go. And then we should be able to press the button just fine. I think it's asleep right now. There we go. Okay, so that you're going to want to keep in mind, and you can adjust that however you want. Just make sure not to lose any of the parts in there. There's 3 parts. The outer section, the part that gets pressed, the little plunger bit, and then the spring in between. And maybe 4 parts, because this, I think, comes out, this mother of pearl button. But other than that, it does come apart in a couple different places. The neck unscrews in a couple different sections, but you're not going to want to unscrew that at all because there's wires running through here. Just don't want to put any strain on there. How you access the chassis is you unscrew the bottom. This unscrews in 2 parts, one at the very bottom and one at this section right here. This is the part you want to unscrew, so you have access to the chassis. Here's an example of the pommel section coming off. There you go. You don't ever really need to take that off, but you do not have proper access to the chassis, I believe, if you just open this one up. So you got to open both of them up, then you have access to the chassis. And this has a twist secure lock system that Jimmy's Saber Junk likes to do. So you just grab it, twist it counterclockwise until you feel it come out. Then you're all set. You can see the lock system here. I'm hoping it doesn't wear out over time. That's always my fear with his chassis designs. But I've only ever worked on a couple of lightsabers using his chassis, so it's hard to say the longevity of it. But overall, I think it's fantastic, and it should work perfectly fine because he should know what he's doing, because he's very, very experienced and a very good chassis designer. And as you can see, it's got really nice design elements to it with these little stripy things everywhere. So it just makes it so it's a really nice chassis. Plus, I think Cal from the TheSaberArmory got a new printer, so these chassis are coming out even better than they used to. Now, here's a good overview of what the chassis looks like. It's very simple. This is your battery. That's your speaker, and I hid the joints with some heat shrink, which I think came out wonderfully. This is your kill switch. This is your soundboard. The soundboard is held in with sort of a slanted slot, so it's being held in there. I did add a little bit of glue because it was sticking out a little bit, but it's a very tiny amount. If you ever need to take it out, you just probably yank it up a little bit and pull it out, but do so very carefully. But I don't think you ever really need to take that out. Now, with CFX soundboards, you pretty much never need the micro USB port thing. With this chassis design though, it has the micro USB port on top, which means that the SD card, which you will be accessing a lot more, is at the bottom of the soundboard. Bottom of the soundboard. And the only way to access that is using some tweezers. Let's turn that off real quick. So you have to use tweezers in order to take it out, because it's not on top, it's on the bottom. But it's got this cool slanted chassis bit to help guide it. And then you just lightly grab it, you don't squeeze it, and then wiggle it out. And then there you go, you've got your sound or your SD card. This is where all your fonts are stored, your config files, etc. You just plug this into your computer and then you customize it. If you have any customization questions, all the resources that I have are down in the description of the video, along with a quick interaction guide for one-button lightsabers, so it'll show you all of the button controls and whatever else you can do. So with that in mind, we'll put this back. It's kind of tricky to put it back in, and you want to make sure it doesn't go underneath the SD card slot, because then it'll just slide underneath the soundboard. So I like to turn it upside down like that, so that gravity can help align it more. And then just working on it there. You could also use some tweezers if you want. Then it should be able to just fall into place once you get it right. With CFX soundboards, I always like having the SD card on top so you have easier access to the SD, but underneath also works. It's just a little bit more tricky to access it. So, now that that's in place, all you really need to know is that you do that to turn it on. If you want to remove this, you could either use a nail, but I don't have any nails right now, so you can use some tweezers and just push it down and pull it out. Spring side is your negative, other side is the positive. So spring is towards the speaker, positive is towards the blade and everything else. And as you can see, I just want to make a note. The wires from the, whoops, gotta get that on camera. The wires from the negative terminal and the speaker, I actually managed to hide them so they're not visible in these little windows. They're just hidden back here past them, which is pretty cool. I like to try and hide the wires as much as I can whenever it's possible. So hopefully that looks pretty cool. Put that in. Now let's put it into the hilt. You can basically, whoops. It has gesture control, sorry about the loudness. This is actually at about, 35% volume, which is still really, really loud, especially when the chassis is outside of the hilt. But let's put it into the hilt. You can put it in pretty much anywhere and it'll align itself. The rotary chassis PCB makes it so you can't misalign it at all. So you just put it in however you want and you just feel around until It goes in, and then you just turn it until it clicks. So you turn it clockwise until you feel it click, and then it'll be locked in place. Close it up, and then boom. It's got all the favorite features of a Neopixel lightsaber, or any of the modern lightsabers. So it's got smooth swing, it's got clash effects, blaster blocks, blade lockup, so if you hold down for a little bit and then clash, it's got blade lockup. It's localized as well, I'll show you with the blade. It's got tip drag. You just point it down at like a 45-degree angle, and then do the clash, and then it'll show up at the tip. It's got twist on and twist off gesture controls. I didn't set up any other gesture controls because personally I think twisting is the only one that's really cool. Other than that, I'll show you briefly some button stuff that you can do. So if the blade is off, you can cycle through the sound fonts by just holding it down until you get to the sound font selection menu.
Sound bank selection.
There you go.
Blue.
Should be about 3 seconds of holding. I think if you hold it for 2 seconds, that's when you can play the music tracks, but I think I only have one music track per font. And to cycle through your font selection menu, once you're here, you can just
Green. Purple. Red.
turn it clockwise to go forward, but it has to be horizontal, can't be vertical.
White. Yellow.
And it doesn't have to twist all the way, you can just do that. And then if you want to go backwards,
Yellow. White. Red. Purple.
so pretty much
Red. White. Yellow.
that's how you cycle through it if you want. You can also cycle forward by just tapping the button,
Take your weapons. The weapon of a Jedi.
but you're not able to go backwards doing that.
Yeah. Night.
Crystal.
Nebula.
Green.
And these are all the fonts that I have set up. It's basically all the standard fonts that come with CFX, along with a few free ones that I have collected, which are from Kyberphonic Fonts, Phoenix Fonts. I think Grayscale has a couple in there. But there's a couple places with free fonts that I've collected on here. Then I've set them up with a few different blade styles and colors
Young lady.
in order to show off as much as I can. This one's a nice rainbow one.
This is General Kenobi.
Ancient.
Audio player.
SD card system menu. Exit menu.
Blue.
Alright, we're back to the beginning. To select it, you just hold down the button until you hear the selection sound. And let me put in a blade real quick. I like to put the lightsaber hilt down on a surface like this. Put in the blade so I can put it in nice and flat. And then with 3 retention screws, it's a little tricky to get it all to line up sometimes. So there we go. Just using the 1 retention screw for now. Here we go. And you can see the blade lights up. This one's like a 36-inch blade, but it should work with a bunch of different ones. You can set that up, the length of the pixels, in the config file. I'll show you the localized blasters. Localized lockup. If I can, it's hard to do it while at a table here. There we go. You can kind of see it travel the blade, but it's really hard to tell on here. I'll have to figure out a different setup to help show these off the best. Then tip drag. If I stand up, it might be easier. There you go. You can see the tip light up. And once again, you just hold the button and clash at a 45-degree angle or lower, I think. What else is there? Let's change colors. You can hold down the button and then just twist while the blade is on, and it'll cycle through spectrum mode, so it'll go through all the different preset colors. Right now I'm just going through the different blues. This one's red, orange, yellow, a little bit more of a lime color. Going through till we find green, and then cyan. I think purple should be in there somewhere, but I might have gone past it. In any case, you can set up the different color profiles and whatnot. I think I've only allowed 11 of them in here, a certain amount, but you can go in the config file and unlock a few more of them to save space or to show off different ones. But in any case, I think that's pretty much all you need to know. I will go through some of the different fonts here just to show it off.
Sound bank selection. Blue.
I already showed you all the colors, so let me go to some of the fancy ones.
Yes. A jet night for
Crystal focus.
Don't remember what this one was. Sort of a flickery yellow blade.
Sound bank selection.
Crystal focus. Crystal focus.
Nebula.
Grainy.
I'll just show off the
Grainy.
I think I'll just go to the rainbow one and show it off. But I do have
Young lighting.
a lot of different blade effects here. You can just check them out as you wish. Rainbow. Sort of an upward rainbow. And to turn off the blade, you just hold it for a few seconds and then it'll go away. I extended the time it takes to hold the button to turn the lightsaber off so that it's easier to get the clash effects in, because that's important. So you can hold it down and clash. And then I'll move this back to the beginning, and I guess we'll call it the end right there.
This is General LO9. Ancient.
Audio.
SD system exit menu.
Blue.
There we go, and we're back to the beginning. Now that's as much as I can think of right now that this lightsaber can do. It has a lot of other features you can unlock in the config file. If you read the manual, it'll show you everything that's possible with the crystal focus. Of course, there's a lot of things that you have to set up separately to get those features, but there's a lot of standard ones that you can just go in and unlock, and it's really, really cool. But other than that, hope you enjoy this lightsaber and having a look at it, and we'll get right back to close off this video while showing off my face, I guess, like I'm doing in all my videos these days. But anyways, this is a cool lightsaber. Hope you enjoy. And we're back. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed checking out this Leia lightsaber I finished. If you want to see more lightsabers and lightsaber builds, please like and subscribe so you can see more. And if you want to commission a lightsaber build from me, feel free to contact me on Instagram. The link is down in the description. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.